Are you ready? This is why the part of the control tower. We're gonna chant them down. We're gonna push them down. We're gonna break them down. Get ready to sing. 1, 2, 3. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's needless, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. Think it's Nevis where I was born. There will be no place for me to hold on. We'll be sinking, we'll be drowning in deep water. There'll be no recover. Power hungry politicians slowly selling out the island to Tom, Dick, anybody who have money. Now look what they make we. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis belongs to we. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. The little job that we used to have. Foreigners take it while me a starve. The little food that I used to sell. Foreigners taking even that as well. The jobs and businesses here in this country are owned by Arabs, Indians and Chinese. Gone to the beach, this white man tell me to get off of his property. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over slowly in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over daily like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. DJ MARRYSHAW came and tell me. He said, mighty, listen carefully. There'll be no place in our country left for our we. Watch and you will see. Foreigners will be Prime Minister. Foreigners will be Premier. Foreigners will be Governor. Pass of passport money, we're going back in slavery. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis, that shouldn't be. Foreigners taking over daily in my country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. If you are proud to be a Kittitian, if you are proud to be an Indian, then take your flag up in your hand and wave it in any direction. This land belong to you and me. So stand up with pride and dignity and tell them foreigners bully. They ain't gon' chase me out of we country. I'm an alien in my country. Think it's Nevis should belong to we. Foreigners taking over daily in our country. Lord have mercy. I'm an alien in my country. Government pretend that they can't see. Foreigners taking over slowly like a bulldozer. They gon' crush me. Put up the flag and wave. Come on. Put up the flag and wave. Let me see you say. Put up the flag and wave. Let me hear you say. Put up the flag and wave. Let me see you do it. Wave it. Wave it. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Put up the flag and wave. Put up the flag and wave.
Yes, Sons of the Mighty Pat. That one is called Alien in My Country. I'm DJ Morrishaw, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, you heard it right. I'm here in Sweet Sugar City, St. Kitts, doing my thing. We're going to be talking some things this evening. We only deal with the facts, by the way. We just concluded the celebration of our 40th anniversary of independence celebration. A lot took place, a lot to talk about. Time might not be there to talk everything. You know, as you know, we come a little early, 5 to 7, due to the CPL schedule, but we're going to do our best to bring you as much of this information as possible. Now, I ask you to continue to share the live, keep folks abreast of what's taking place in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. We're going to start off on this end with, we're going to drop a track here by my boy, Star Shield. Star Shield have a track there. This one is called Nation Pride. And it doesn't matter which party you support over the weekend, especially the night day of the 40th anniversary Independence Parade. The display that was done, I want to congratulate our Honorable Prime Minister, his cabinet, and the team that put everything together. Great display there at the Warner Park Stadium, Cricket Stadium, and I know there was a lot happening. I understand all of the talking seems to take a break now. All of the crying, then I understand. Honorable Prime Minister Joe announced that everyone that pays into the Social Security system will receive $1,000 into their account, compliments of the 40th anniversary of independence. So, you know, everybody is happy. You get some sugar cake. My boy EK is all elated. I wonder, I hear from my girl, Tracy Mason. I wonder if she get hers already, because, you know, I got to catch up with Tracy and get a drink out of that. My boy Curtis Crook. I want to say good evening to my boy, the Carbo across the Nevis area. It was nice seeing you guys on the St. Kitts side last evening, Brother Tulu. It was nice having you on our side of the globe, my brother. Honorable Sister Janice Daniel Hatch, it was nice seeing you as well. It was very good seeing Sister Myers as well. I want to thank you guys for coming across and hanging out with DJ Morrishaw and taking in some of the independence and this end. You know, I'm going to drop this track here, Nation Pride, because I am hearing some things this morning which it just does not add up. And as I keep saying to people, if this thing was not so serious, it will be laughable. After 40 years of independence for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and after 7 years of a team unity concussion with 3 parties, the PLP, led by the former Prime Minister Timothy Harris, the People's Action Movement, PAM, led by Sean Richards, and the CCM, led by Premier Brantley, who is now the opposition leader in the federal parliament and St. Kitts at the federal level, yet Premier of Nevis on the local level. I do not know how you can do that. As an electrician, I know when you cross a hot wire and a neutral, is a dead shot. You cross a ground and a hot wire is a dead shot. So I don't understand how one individual can hold the portfolio of minister, the opposition minister in federal, and still the Premier of Nevis. You can't make these things up. This is what happened in our beloved Federation. We are unique, and something have to give. After 40 years of independence, something have to be done with that constitution. Some kind of amendment have to be done. I am understanding that the Premier this morning is gloating that after 40 years of independence, it's the first time any Prime Minister have came across to Nevis to celebrate with them for their parade or whatever it was. Dr. Joe went across yesterday and participated, visited him. But you see, in as much as they're crying out, say Dr. Joe not coming across to Nevis, Dr. Joe not this, Dr. Joe not that. Dr. Joe is doing his part from a federal level to make sure Nevis get what it's due to it. And as Dr. Joe said to me last week, he said, Jeffroy, don't worry, we're going across to Nevis. I hear the cries. And when I get back from New York, I have to travel for the UN Assembly this week. Once I get those things out of the way, we're going to go across to Nevis. But Navy's got a good piece of the sugar for this past independence, and I hope that the people appreciate it, and I hope that they continue to hold Premier Mark Brantley foot to the fire, because I will. For those of you who was not paying attention last Friday, I went across the Nevis. I went and I visited the paused or unpaused hospital wing there. That is over there at the Alexandria Hospital. And I'll be honest with you, if I did not see it for myself, nobody could have explained the tragedy that is going on over there. And every national, every citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis should take the time, if you have not gone there yet, to take a walk up that road. Visit the structure, see what is there. And you guys have to come down and Mark Brantley. This pounding and breaking down or whatever going on inside, to every piece of block you break down, you're trying away the taxpayers' dollar. You cannot continue breaking down. There is no way around this one, Brother Brantley. It's time that you give an open house visit to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Let them freely to come and see what's going on inside it, because that place is in a mess. And you know something? I'm going to drop this track here by Starship and I'm coming back to you. Because for the life of me, you cannot complete the job in 6 years at the Alexandria Hospital, where you're up and down the country painting a copper. A copper that was there, ain't bothered nobody for some time. That's the copper I use to mark the road to get to Miko. So if you change the color, I might not know where to go, and I have to find Miko. So you all need to cut out this painting business. It's not a joke. You know, you all seem to be ministers or cabinet of paint, NIA of paint. You all love to paint. You all paint and finish hospital wing. By the time that thing come off SN to use, you're gonna have to paint it again. So that paint going down the drain. But anyway, let me drop this track by Brother Starshield and big up everyone in the Federation. Once we drop this track, we're gonna come back to my brother there, Brother J.A. Dwyer Astafan's commentary for today. Lovely commentary and commentary. And we're gonna talk the things this evening. So stand by for my boy there, the King Starshield. This one is called Our Nation's Pride.
Wrong. We are far away from self-realization. For politics has its season, but prosperity has a price. And to build a progressive nation, we must pay the sacrifice. And the sacrifice of our leaders is to obey the one above, not to live for the love of power, but by the power of love. And the sacrifice of our people, when every election done, is come together and work with cooperation and change and stand up and build this nation. Yes, it's time to uplift our nation and disregard all our differences in party affiliation. For if we want this land to be a land of peace and prosperity, then we let unity abide for the sake of our nation. And it's we who mash up our bands, and it's we who are the oppressors to the citizens of our lands, and we divide it in every situation. Take a good look at the Syrians, how they're prospering in this land. Under any administration, they unite with corporation. But my people are so divided on this little rock in the sea, that our sportsmen just have to suffer when they come from the country. That is why all our teams are failing, for we keep our sportsmen down. So let's forget all this regional division and change and stand up and build our nation. Together we lift our nation. Yes, and disregard all petty differences and regional confusion. For if we want this land to be a land that reigns with supremacy, then we let unity abide for the sake of our nation's pride. Progress was found in calypso songs, when we used to sing songs of success and for blessings to our lands. Now we cussing and spreading rumor to degrade others' character, but this should not be a part of our culture. So I said this word in calypso, that our children would understand, and calypsonians would remember when they sit down to write their songs, that when you point your finger at another, it's three pointing back at you. So when you degrade your own brother, you degrading your own self too. For the greatest crown of our nation is the crown of our nation's pride. So in unity we all should abide. Oh yes, let's stand up and build this nation. It's time to uplift our nation. Yes, and disregard all our differences. Let us work and live as one. For if we really, really want this land to be a land of pride and integrity, then let's put all these things aside and save our nation's pride. I said to save our nation's pride. Save our nation's pride. Now come on, politicians, save our nation. Wipe out all this division between the country and tongue. Calypsonians come build this land. We gonna stop pulling each other down. Yes. Let's save our nation.
Sounds of the King Star Shield, save our nation's pride. And you know, like I said, when I look at Premier Brand, I look at him as a gentleman that is very stylish, love to sharp up, love to dress, love to do things to uplift himself. I respect the gentleman in these regards. But anyone, and I say anyone because I am speaking to people at Nevis, you know, asking them have they taken the time out to go and visit this new hospital wing, and people tell me straight up, boy, nobody walk up the road, you know, nobody has study mark. And this is the problem. If nobody's studying mark, who is monitoring the federal funds, where the money is going in that hospital wing over there? The people of Nevis, if you all don't pay attention and you all don't care to walk up the road and see what's going on up there, when the economy dead, you know, you are going to cry down to St. Kitts for Dr. Drew to come save you when the money up they wasted. You, the division, need to step it up. Demand accountability. It is time that Premier Brantley come to the people and open the books. As you know, I spoke last week on the broadcast about the health minister. I reached out to her to get a tour of the hospital, and she told me I was not able to get a tour at this time. I still waiting for her to get back to me from last week, Monday. So there's another Wednesday, over a week. I guess the data on her phone still not working. She got directive not to communicate with me. I do not know. But these politicians have to understand that they're public servants. They're responsible for themselves. They're responsible to the people, citizens such as myself. And we need some answers. We need some serious answers. You know, I am looking at a flyer that someone sent to me that for the 40th anniversary and the 23rd. So I guess it's this coming Saturday, that there's some celebrity cook-off and all proceeds going to go in aid of the Carding Home. Now, what is funny about this flyer, you know, when I look at the flyer is saying celebrity cook-off judges. Who are the celebrity cook-off judges? Honorable Mark Brantley is one of the judges. The next person on the flyer is Stacey Hapson. Stacey Hapson is an architect, maybe one of the best on the island, if not in the region. So this quantity surveyor that Mark Brantley claimed he paid money to in St. Kitts and cannot get the goods, where he got someone in the likes of Stacey Hapson who is very capable, you know. If I am not mistaken, the new prison that they're trying to build here in St. Kitts, I think it's Stacey Hapson designed that, you know. He was the architect on that job. Stacey Hapson is a renowned architect. So while he could pick up the phone and reach out to Stacey Hapson to come to be a judge for a cook-off, why can't he reach out to Stacey and ask him for some help on the hospital wing? You know, another judge that I see there is the big JL, Junior Libert. And I want to know from my partner JL, have you been across to Nevis and check out what's going on the new hospital wing there? And if you haven't, as a journalist and someone, an owner of one of the leading radio station in this federation, you should be concerned, you know, Juni. I am saying to you, Juni Libert, as a friend, as a former colleague, you was my manager when you was manager, I said, I respect you. When you're gonna have what's going on in Nevis at that hospital, and Mark Brantley and his minister in the NIA cannot answer the people of the federation, Juni, you as a media person, you should reject that invitation. You should not be going across to Nevis, go play with no cook-off, no judge. Yeah? In the big jail, you should not be a part of this thing. You need to be getting answers from Mark Brantley about the hospital wing. Not about no cook-off business. There's many other people who could taste. Corey Tyson could taste. Moffett Slack. Carbo is a big chef. Let them call Carbo to come and be one of the judge. These are the problems I have with the people in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They got the priorities mixed up. Playing around and dancing with Mark Brantley in time like this is not the right thing to do. As a media person, as someone who owns a radio station in the Federation, you should be holding Mark Brantley foot to the fire. Not going across to being a judge. My partner again, DJ Sparry. What DJ Sparry going across it to do? Huh? Somebody named O'Keefe Marshall, I don't know who that is. But the two people on this flyer that I think, I don't care who else go over there. Stacey Hapson should be going over there as an architect to assist with the hospital. Not to be no cook, no judge, chuck off for no cooking. The man is a renowned architect, Mark Brantley. That's what you need to take Stacey across to Nevis to do. See what's going on at the hospital, what he could do to help. We're gone by the morning, can't come to the evening. And I'm going to be honest with you, Mark Brantley, if you're hearing me. And if you can't hear me, your partner gonna give you my message. Where that project is right now, that is no longer able to be used for what you guys originally had the design for. Stop breaking down the wall there. Start seeking another piece of land to put down a proper hospital. The structure is a nice structure. Whatever design that is there, it cannot. All you're doing is wasting money. You're going to be pounding wall for the next couple of years and you're still not going to get the result you're looking for. So I'm appealing to you all, stop breaking down the wall then. Reach out for help. I am here. I am in the Federation. I am willing to take a look at it. Stop breaking down the walls. What gone by the morning can't conquer the evening. In the first place, when I'm hearing that it was one individual that drew the plan for this expansion wing at the hospital, I can tell you all straight up, there is no one individual that possesses all of the necessary skills to design a hospital on their own. When it comes to maintenance and repairs, there are some people versatile in several areas. But when it comes to designing a hospital, no one individual can sit down in the office and design a plan for hospital. So I want to believe whoever the individual was that designed this structure, that is what it was. It was a structure that was designed without knowing what you are going to do with the rest of it. You all just throw up a structure and say later on, we're going to decide what we're going to do. Because you cannot come and tell me now that after you went and spent all this money to put down this structure, now you got to find out what's going to go into this area and what's going to go into that area, and you got to break down here and you got to break down there. It just does not make sense. And by the way, I have to take a drink of water. So let me big up my boy, Brother Powell, down there's Island Purified Water. And I want to thank him and his staff for taking care of DJ MARRYSHAW, because whenever I'm in the area, definitely Brother Powell at Island Purified Water, he makes sure DJ MARRYSHAW stay hydrated. So, people, we need to wake up. And not just Nivision need to be concerned about this project, Every citizen got to be concerned, because it's your tax dollar. None of them in the labor administration, none of them in the NIA, if it was their personal property that they was building, would be straying money in a bottomless pit like this. Hear me again. None of them in the labor administration, and I mean the current labor administration, none of them in the NIA, and I mean the current NIA, if it was their personal money they was spending building a property, nobody would have tried the money after that like that. So why should they do it to the people? Why should they be allowed to do it to the people? And I'm calling on people out there like Sister Tracy Mason and all of them out there bigging up Mark Brantley and running behind Mark Brantley. As I've said time and time again, I does not hate the gentleman. But when I look at this man walking around the street, I was at an event there for the visiting nationals at the Marriott on Monday. I want to thank Christine Walwyn and the man Big Lights for inviting me across there. Very lovely event. They're working on the build out for the secretariat for the diaspora, as Dr. just spoke about before. And Mark Brantley walking there nonchalant, like you don't have a key in the world. While we got millions wasted there, millions of dollars that should be used to uplift the people of Nevis. I got a problem with this attitude towards the whole thing. You're out there painting a copper that was green, how much God knows how much is. You're all fighting about painting copper. Is election coming in Nevis, so you want everything blue in Nevis? You want to paint the airport blue? You want to paint the street marking blue? But you could go by Carbo, go change Carbo place because Carbo could use up some paint. I'm pretty sure if you take some paint by Carbo or down by Muffet, they won't mind painting the building blue. Give it a facelift. By the way, Brother Carbo, don't forget, put in the chat there your place in Fountain, Carbo's Delicatessen. Lovely goat water, lovely fish. I went up there last Friday, man. The cornmeal and what y'all call it, fungi and fish, fufu. Man, the snapper was banging. It was ringing in my ear. Some lovely goat water. My boy Tulu, brother Daly and Patrice Nisbet and Sister Myers and you call it the leader of the opposition, whether they want to give it to you or not, Sister Janice Daniel Papi. Not a good amount of folks there, but the Powell, Glendale, Herbert. We had a good shine there. Well supported, great job by the man. Cabo. But we're gonna have to talk some serious things tonight. We're gonna have to talk some serious things. Because guess what? The PM released some numbers last week, but I was traveling. And those numbers that the PM released, again, I got to dive into them. Because somebody needs to be charged. And if some of them were trying to take themselves out, said they did not know their name was on a check, then you should be charged for stupidity. If somebody gonna give you a check for how much ever dollars to go on cash and bring the money back to them, and you're not getting none out of it, you should be charged for stupidity. So everybody needs to be charged. The DJ MARRYSHAW ain't gonna fall for them thing there. So let's drop the Dwyer commentary and come back because the time is running. And like I said, I won't be here too long. We have cricket tonight. I have to look at my cricket. So stand by for our brother Dwyer's commentary.
Greetings. In 1996, the National Honors Act was introduced in this country. By the Act, 3 different awards were created for citizens, namely the National Hero, which is the highest ranking award, the Star of Merit, which is the second highest, and the Medal of Honor. The award of National Hero is available to persons who are adjudged to have rendered distinguished and outstanding service to the nation. The Star of Merit is awarded to citizens who are adjudged to have rendered long and meritorious service or demonstrated loyal and devoted service to the nation. And the Medal of Honor is awarded for outstanding and meritorious service to the nation. This act paved the way for the nation to express and record its formal appreciation and recognition of citizens who have distinguished themselves in the service of the national cause. And over the years, many deserving citizens have been honored in this way. However, and I say this with no ill will, acrimony, malice, or grievance towards anyone, it is my opinion that some of the selections over the years have smacked of political or personal patronage and have been plain and simple wrong in the process, devaluing the credibility and integrity of the whole system. I won't go into details, but as inappropriate and even shocking as some of these selections may have been, perhaps even more shocking, have been the omissions over the years. When you consider persons who, notwithstanding their significant and very obvious contributions over the years, even over the centuries, such persons have not been honored in this way or in any other way, you have to wonder what kind of nation we are and what kind of nation we can be. Let me give you some examples. Of course, this list will not be exhaustive. It can't be. We don't have the time, and I don't have the capability. First example, Elizabeth Beto Douglas, born in 1772 in St. Kitts, an enslaved person. She fought against enslavement and injustice and dehumanization here and in Britain, and she won. She became an international icon in the fight against enslavement and injustice. What honor have we given to Beto Douglas? Is there a theatrical play or a movie about her? Is there a book? Is there a poem? Is there a monument or a street or a building or a facility named in her honor? Is there a scholarship? Do our children know about Beto Douglas? Do you know about Beto Douglas? Beto Douglas is you. She just came before and you came later. Beto Douglas is us. Then there were some folks in the Capistia area, northern side of the island, who resisted enslavement under French rule. Governor de Poissy and went to the mountains. Maroons, just like Marcus of the Woods later did. What honor have they gotten? In fact, who knows about them? Marcus himself was a source of inspiration to the enslaved and the oppressed people of this land, and was heard about beyond the shores of St. Kitts and Nevis. A serious, committed, courageous, and defiant thorn in the flesh of the European oppressors, absolutely refused to live in bondage. How have we honored and memorialized Marcus of the Woods? Then there was another uprising around the time of emancipation, a rebellion against the apprenticeship system. How many of us know about that uprising? Perhaps just as significant as the 1935 Buckley's Rebellion. How many of us know about that uprising around emancipation time and the introduction of the apprenticeship system? We know about those brave and noble persons, again your ancestors, who mounted that uprising. Then there was a man named James Russell, a lowly worker living in times when land belonged to the big plantations and the crown. The small man and woman owned nothing. James Russell had a tenement house, a chattel house, and he was determined to put his chattel house on a piece of land. Remember all of this in the face of extremely hostile and intolerant, oppressive and inhumane rulers of the country. So he planted his chattel house on a piece of land, very, very bravely. And his braveness inspired others, and they went and did the same. And that area later became known as Russell Village. But he was not the only one. A lady named Mary Fry did the same thing in another area. She inspired and emboldened other people, and her area became known as Fry's Village. Now in the USA, they celebrate Rosa Parks, and rightly so. And we in St. Kitts celebrate Rosa Parks as well, and we know about her. But we don't know about Mary Fry and James Russell. You see the shame in that? We don't know our past. We're not appreciative of the power, the glory of the efforts of those before us, sharing the same gene pool. We are not allowing that greatness to transport itself across the generations to make us a greater people and a greater country. And there are others, besides whom I've named, who back in the day stood like giants against oppression and tyranny in defense of their own humanity and the humanity of their fellow oppressed brothers and sisters. And in your cause, they were not fighting just for themselves and their children, but for generations to come. And we are showing no appreciation at all for the greatness that we have inherited. These trailblazers, whom I have mentioned, represent a history of courage, confidence, defiance, inspiration, and determination. And as I said, they and others like them have passed the torch across the generations. A gene pool of excellence, a gene pool of honor and dignity, and accomplishment in the most hellishly adverse circumstances. They are dead, but they left a legacy. It is for us to embrace the legacy and appreciate the power and the potential that we've inherited. Appreciate by honoring those who passed the baton to us. What can you expect of a nation whose people ignore and are ignorant of the greatness of their own ancestors? We're too busy playing politics, misusing power, living in our narrow and superficial and unenlightened lanes, and undereducating the masses as to their great ancestors and as to their own great potential. We are preoccupied with trivia, fighting against each other over nonsense, living less than prudent lives, squandering the gifts, the legacies that are ours. And here are more examples. John Allen, James Archibald, and Joseph Samuel were killed in the Buckley's Rebellion in 1935, an event which triggered similar worker agitation for justice throughout the region. In addition to those three killed, Alfred Rogers, Ingrid Griot, Olive Allen, Cyril Tyson, William Fowle, Samuel Woodley, Ellsworth Selkridge, and Charles Moving were injured. And in addition to the martyrs and the injured, there were hundreds of other workers, brave men and women, who stared death in the face with resolute hearts during those very trying times, so that life for them and for their future generations could be better. What appreciation are we showing for these people? Our appreciation of them enriches and empowers us and makes us better individuals and a better people and nation. Then there were Manchester, Solomon, Nathan, Seaton, John, Wilkes, Sebastian, Halbert, and others. Manchester, Seaton, John, and Sebastian have streets named after them in the Ponside area. And Halbert has the library at the CFB named after him. But are these things enough? What do we know about these people? There is so much that they did that can inspire us and elevate us. Most of us don't know, and what you don't know, you don't know. And those who know don't seem to have it as a top priority for us to know. This will cultivate and culturate us and bring us to a higher level as a society and reduce the crudeness, the crassness, the vulgarity, and this quick journey over the cliff that we are undertaking now. What about icons like Anne Liebert, and more recently Eugenie Byron Conda, Jean Byron, and others? What about the person who designed our national flag, Idris Louis Wiesweg? Do you know she has never received a national honor? Going back to 1983, Idris Louis Wiesweg has never received a national honor of the country whose flag she designed, her own country where her navel string is buried. If that is not an historic shame, then I don't know what is. She doesn't have a street named after her. Similarly, there's nothing named after a man named Willie Dorr, one of the great citizens of this country of the 20th and 21st century, or Sir Probin Innes, or Mr. Ken Martin, or Ellie Matt, or Kenrick Georges, or sportsmen like George McMahon, Austin Eddy, Auckland Hector, Leroy Coorey, Luther Kelly, Trevor Levine, Zeke Percival, and others, too many to mention, who have in one way or the other rendered distinguished service, have made us proud, have placed us on the map in a good way. Likewise for our ladies who won the Caribbean Netball Championships in the 70s. Recently were here gathered for a week of celebrations, which was fantastic, I'm told. What have we done to honor them individually and as a group? Meanwhile, we have an avenue in McKnight named Fines Avenue, named in honor of a man, Eustace Fines, an Englishman, who said here in our legislative council many years ago that education is wasted on the poor. Who do you think he meant when he used the word poor? In the heart of McKnight, a street is named in honor of that man. And all of these people who over the centuries have contributed are not being honored and appreciated by us. One of the world's top astrophysicists is a man named Neil deGrasse Tyson, an American of Nevisian heritage. What are we doing with him and his name as a source of inspiration and even a source of helping us develop our nation? We have roundabouts here in Frigate Bay in St. Kitts, named after foreign developers. I'm not mad at that. If Neil deGrasse Tyson's ancestral navel strings are buried in Nevis, then we should find a way to work with him and show our appreciation and let him show his as well. Likewise for Cicely Tyson. What about the highly accomplished surgeon Dr. Spencer Amory and the highly accomplished and respected research scientist Dr. Samuel Rollins from Bastia, retired but is with us now? What about Dr. Methwin Isaac and all of those other honorable and distinguished sons and daughters of St. Kitts and Nevis, representing us nobly in the diaspora? And what about the person who has promoted the name and the flag of this country more than any other person? The most famous native-born citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, Kim Collins, a former world champion in sprint and the only person to have become a world champion flying our flag. Kim Collins has achieved more global greatness in his field of endeavor, than has any other citizen in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. Kim Collins Highway, Order of Merit, are those enough? At one time, he was the most popular track star in the world among the athletic community. And last but by no means least, my good friend and brother Sam Conda, the most humble, hard-working, conscientious, and patriotic politician and high-level public servant in modern St. Kitts, in my opinion. When we fail to honor our people who deserve to be honored, we show our disrespect towards them and our lack of respect for ourselves. We expose a sad lack of appreciation of the critical importance of the passing of the torch of culture and national identity from one generation to the other. And we lose out on the rich legacy that they leave for us. We almost have to start from scratch every generation. And this can be easily fixed. Honor these people, memorialize them, let our children learn about them and be inspired by them. New role models, better role models, our own people. We have a treasure chest of goodness and distinction in our past and present. We must put it to proper and productive use. Doing that will inspire and elevate our people, as I said. Make them more knowledgeable and appreciative of their past. And those upon whose shoulders we stand will take their rightful place, not just in history, but in the making of history by generations to come. Because we will have been made knowledgeable and we will have been inspired by them. It will strengthen us psychologically. We'll feel better about ourselves. We've come from good stock. We'll feel better socially, culturally, nationally. Confidence. But we aren't doing these things. When we get ourselves sorted out, we will see the difference. The whole dynamic in the country will change when you honor your own. Meanwhile, as the Calypsonian, the unexpected, has said in song, of course, let us fix this. Thank you.
Yes, that's the commentary for Brother G.A. Dwyer Astafan for today, September 20th, Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. And Dwyer, you have said a mouthful, you know. So in the mouthful, I cannot go back. I don't have the time to deal with the entire commentary, but I'll say this to you, Brother Dwyer. If the individual that designed our national flag has not get her due diligence after 40 years, then we sure missed the opportunity there this past weekend, because this is a flag that everybody fly all over the world and so proud of. So if Idris did not get her due, we need to fix that ASAP. Now, there's a few people that have reached out to me over the last 3 years, if not more. Every year they say, MARRYSHAW, they miss you, they miss you. How come you did not get any recognition and whatever? Dwyer is speaking about Sam and Jean did not get any recognition, and I support Dwyer on that. But I think Dwyer knows enough to know that it's a process. If you want someone to be recognized for independence, you have to write into the committee and recommend the names. And I think Brother Dwyer is quite capable of writing in, just as I've told my friend in Texas last year, the year before, and this year. If you're so concerned about MARRYSHAW getting some kind of contribution, merit, whatever you all call it, you have a responsibility to take the time out and write a letter. If you don't write that letter, nothing's gonna happen. So Dwyer, I am asking you, in your spare time, you don't have to date it until next year. You could leave it or date it after if you're not around. But write in for Sam, write in for his wife, Jean. They deserve it. You know, Sam and I will be going back and forth with a lot of conversation because politically, Sam has been a part of basically every political party and think it's the same side. And he spoke about transactional arrangements, and he's one of those transactional guys. He spoke about being a professional, and I asked him already, a professional what? Because people could be professional at many things, you know. I saw Sam last night at the government house, and Sam was, to me, just dragging himself. He was out of it, you know. He waved. I had to say to him, Sam, why are you doing waving at me? I'm your partner, come give me a handshake, come give me a hug. I ain't in a waving business. If I call you out about something that you say I did, I'm calling you honestly. I am not doing anything to libel you. So, you know, MARRYSHAW is your boy. MARRYSHAW want to see you do good. Just stay out of the conversation if you don't want me to respond to you. So I don't want you to see me and waving. I want you to come over and shake your boy MARRYSHAW hand because love every time. You understand? Now, Dwyer, you're big independence and you speak about everything else about St. Kitts and Nevis. But one thing I want you to touch in a Dwyer. And I want to touch sooner than later because it's out of hand. I think you have stayed silent enough on that hospital ring in Nevis, Dwyer. This is not about Mark Brantley anymore. This is about the people's money, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, federal funds that is going into a bottomless well, a bottomless pit. So I'm challenging you, Dwyer. If you don't want to go to Nevis on your own and you want to speak from a first-hand experience, I'll go with you. I'll take the trip across with you. Go across the Carbo, have some goat water, have some fish, whatever you want to do, Dwyer. But we need to take the trip across to Nevis and you have to speak about the hospital wing. If you're as righteous as you profess to be, you have to come and speak about what's happening there in Nevis. That thing is in a very bad way. If I didn't see it for myself, I wouldn't have been so passionate about it tonight. But I saw it for myself. As a matter of fact, you know, they did not know the DJ was coming over there. You know. When I went there and I saw the door open, I'm setting up, I said, hustling to set up quick. Because I said, well, I have a good shot from the outside. Next thing, somebody point me out and they came and they rushed and they shut the door. Well, I guess whatever conversation they had, they said, well, they got to get a picture of me. And the gentleman came back taking picture of me and hiding his face, you know. All I wanted to do is to have a conversation with them. Because whether you're a worker for government or not, you have to have an issue with what's going on at that institution. Whether you support CCM or any other political party, you're supposed to have a concern of what's taking place at that institution. I am not going to deal with the matter fully tonight, you know, because I have some upcoming events at Nevis. I'm going to pay Nevis another visit. I am going to pay that wing another visit. So they're going to have to put up a very high fence that I cannot get my camera to put through the wall. And if I can't get my camera to put through the wall, I'm going to get some, they got some, what do they call them down here? Drones. I will get some drones. But the people must know the facts of what's taking place at Nevis, and you, the people of Nevis, especially. It's time that you all come down and Mark Brantley to come clean with what is taking place. But I'm coming back to St. Kitts right now. I'm going to go back across to Nevis in a bit, but I'm coming back to St. Kitts. Because over the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing the attacks and the response from the farmer hog about Dr. Joe, Prime Minister Joe is talking nonsense and whatever. Well, we're going back to the money at the bank, you know, and we're going back to the peace program, and we're going back to the social security. We're going to continue. As I asked the Prime Minister, prior to him got swearing after he won his seat, after he won the government, after Labour won the government, I asked the Prime Minister to do me one thing. And I am satisfied that he's granting my wish. I know that there was a lot of damage under the team unity concussion, financially and otherwise. And it's only a change of government will give us the facts of what really transpired. We dropped short in Nevis, and I'm convinced that Nevis situation is worse than St. Kitts. But let's work with what we have. I asked the Prime Minister to do me a favor. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, you are now the elected leader of the Federation. I know you guys are going to run into more issues than you anticipated. You may not be able to fulfill your promises to the people as planned because you're going to run into a lot of problems. He said, DJ, that's true, you know, that's possible. I said, but I want you to do one thing. as the investigations take place, don't do it in silence. Don't do it in secret like they did with the splitting up of the money, the honorarium. Don't do it in secret, no secrecy. The people must know what you are finding. You might not be able to give all of the information, but whatever you could release, bring it to the people. Try them in the public square. Because they're going to come on social media and the radio station, and they're going to have the propaganda machine trying to distort the facts. I know the legal system will take care of them, but the people must know firsthand what is taking place. And I want to big up Dr. Joe this evening. I want to thank Prime Minister Joe for responding to the request, because the request I made wasn't for DJ MARRYSHAW, you know. It's what the people want. It's what the citizens want. And when the citizens speak to me on the road, speak to me on the phone, I get the calls. I think about what they're saying and I say what makes sense and what don't make sense. It's not everything I can discuss here. But I discuss what I can. And for those of you who want to knock the Prime Minister for bringing the information that he's bringing, it's something that has to be done. The fact-finding mission is going to be longer than we expected because there was a lot of damage done. And if you all think bad in St. Kitts Nevis is worse, let's look at the hospital wing, for example. So let's go to the clips. Time for the receipts. Receipt number 1.
A number of things that I want to address. And as I said before, that I was not in a witch hunt. This administration and our team is not about a witch hunt. We wanted the proper audits to be done, and then once the proper audits are done by reputable organizations, that we can present the findings. Interestingly enough, I saw an article somewhere to say that when I spoke of issues relating to corruption and money unaccounted for, that my state is really, as I say, discredit by the former Prime Minister. That is a very, very, I would say, unsavory statement by him. It is a statement that is, of course, not factual in any way. But I would say that even he has rights, and I am of the opinion that his rights should be respected. And whatever is done should be done properly. So here he is talking about past record, thinking that we may not have done the audit, but we have done it. And this afternoon I'll read part of it because the people of the country must know that the money is unaccounted for. And so we have the 193-page audit, and with good advice, I'm now in a position, to speak to aspects of the audit. I will also say that the audit will also be tabled because I think that it has to be seen. And in addition to that, the country has to be told where that $20 million has gone, $20+ million, and the country deserves to have its money where it should be. This is too much money that is not properly accounted for, and therefore I will read some of the findings from the audit today, the official audit. The other thing I'll touch on Ike, because again, the former Prime Minister is misleading the country. In St. Peter's, where I'm from, we'll say he's lying. And he tried to put it out there with his fake pages and surrogates about the salary increase. I have actually with me the estimates from 2021, 2022. Of course, we were not there. What they were looking at, what was planned in terms of the increase in remuneration for members of parliament. And I will also speak to a report that was done under the previous administration for remuneration of the Federal Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis, and that report, Salaries Review Commission, 2018 to 2019, obviously this administration was not leading the government. And this was done September 30th, 2019. That is when the final report was submitted. And so I will continue to release these, and I think this will also have to be made public, because when you have someone going around misleading the people, the record must be set straight. People accused us of staying long, accused me of staying long. But I think that even though a person said that, I wanted to make sure that we follow the proper process of what is to be followed. But what was most surprising is to hear the one who led all of this trying to mislead the people and actually lie to the people, as we'll say here in local parlance, that there is no such information. So, Ike, let me read this. On taking office, let me say on the outset, the last audit of the development bank was 2018. 2018. So the reason why audits were stopped is because this, what I'm about to read, is a type of structure to have money go, that money can go in all sorts of different ways and unaccounted for. So I will read. On taking office, the government solicited a forensic accounting report of the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis. This was done by MNP LLP. I say it again, MNP LLP, one of the largest full-service chartered professional accountancy and business advisory firms in Canada. They prepared the report dated January 18, 2023. MNP LLP conducted their investigations between September and December 2022 and submitted the detailed report, which is 193 pages long. I have said that before. And I had not brought it before, and I think that's why they were probably thinking there was no such report. However, they thought wrong. And they've asked that the information come forward. And since he has asked, I'm bringing it forward.
My grandmother used to say, be careful what you ask for. Or you ask for information. You all challenge the Prime Minister. And as I told him in previous conversation, if you don't bring the facts to the general public, it's going to become your responsibility in a couple of months. So I am happy that the Prime Minister is doing right by the people of St. Kitts and bringing the information to the people. So let's continue listening.
So I wish to alert the public of some of the findings in that report. Now, there are many aspects to it, but the part I'm going to be dealing with is how they set up the mechanism to actually get the money out of the bank. I will not be calling any specific names today, but to let you know that all of this took place under the former CEO, according to this report. Page 120 of the report, and it reads, in 2019, all wages and in some cases advances were paid by cash. The bank issued checks payable to a person's name. However, we understand he was not aware that any check was issued in his name. Rather, he would come to the bank to pick up grocery bags of cash. That's from the development bank. Grocery bags of cash every week for the duration of the period that he was involved in this particular program. The cash was accompanied by a sheet of paper with those who the money must go to. Those are grocery bags of cash coming out of the development bank to be distributed to whoever. Beginning on, that's page 120. Page 121 of the report reads, beginning in October 2019, the bank issued checks payable to and the person's name, which I would not call today. A Development Bank SKN employee. So in October 2019, the bank would write checks in employee's name or particular employee of the Development Bank, St. Kitts Nevis. So here is an employee. The bank would issue a check in the name of that employee. And guess what happened? In some cases, checks were issued to other individuals, so that employee and others. However, the vast majority of these, approximately $20 million over time. So here is an employee. The bank is writing a check in that employee's name. Other checks were written. I am just talking about the 20 million because more money is unaccounted for. Approximately $20 million over time. And this is on page 121 of the report, a report prepared by MNP LLP, a chartered professional accountancy and business advisory firm in Canada. It's about the Development Bank. This is on page 121. I give that for those who might just have tuned in. However, the vast majority of these checks, approximately $20 million EK, $20 million over time were issued to that person, and we have the name and the stub of the checks that went to National Bank. He indicated that she took the checks to the National Bank and cashed the checks and then delivered the cash in large envelopes back to the bank, and that he never had any knowledge of the amount or use of the cash after that point.
Well, my good people, for your viewers online, I do not know how you all feel about this part of the Prime Minister's statement, but I would like to see any supervisor give DJ MARRYSHAW a check in his name, and DJ MARRYSHAW going to go and cash that check and bring the money back to the supervisor. Not in this world, you know. And I'm saying to you, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm saying to you, Mr. AG, people in Development Bank, the people that was responsible for approving these transactions at National Bank, need to be charged, you know. We ain't gonna settle for less. If they are not charged for stealing, you have to find Allah on the books, charge them for stupidity. But all of them is culpable. Every last one of them. I will not settle for less. Every last one of them in that report should be charged at National Bank, at Development Bank. The people are demanding fair, swift justice. Just like how you arrest the common man who had a parking ticket, couldn't afford to pay for it, or you arrest them. The man that have a little baby and can't afford to pay a little child support, or you arrest them. The little man with a spliff in the mouth. Don't forget you have a big problem across the Nevis. You know? We got a serious issue across in Nevis. Somebody should have been picked up already for the hospital wing, you know. Somebody should have been picked up already. But for whatever reason, justice is not swift, and that matter. But this one, where you have the report, Mr. Prime Minister, you got the names. The AG need to get on the ball. We need answers. We're not waiting till election campaign come up couple of years from now, and this is used for propaganda. We're not going to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I want the matter to be dealt with forthwith. Follow the money, do the due diligence. If it's going to take 3 years to properly prosecute the matter, come and tell the people that. But the people are frustrated. They are hearing all this money missing and are getting any updates in regards to the charges. We hear you, Mr. Prime Minister. We appreciate the information, but we want to know where the matter is at. What do we do next? What is next? Somebody, some people must be held accountable. Let's continue listening.
So here's an employee, EK. The bank writes a check over this period of time equaling up to $20 million. That employee is instructed to go to National Bank.
Was it done in writing, Mr. Prime Minister? If that instruction was not done in writing, that employee is culpable. They should be charged for stupidity. I will not settle for less. Whatever instructions that was given to that employee, once your name is placed on that check, it's your money. Should have taken that money and go and deposit it at National Bank, open an account in his name or her name. Let them come and fight you. First thing you go, you get a photocopy of the check. The next step, you go and you open an account and deposit their money in your account because it was given to you as a gift. You can't go and cash money and bring it back. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem, and it was over a period of time. So you was a part of the thing.
That employee goes in, meets specific people in National Bank who would know that that employee is coming. Calls are made from on high to make sure that that connection is made. As he delivers the check, from what we see, some of the checks were written for up to $500,000, $650,000.
You all hear money? You all hear them numbers there? You got bigger numbers in Nevis, you know. Bigger numbers have been called in Nevis. Now, who's going to give the big JL a check for 500,000? Who's going to give my partner Sam Kanda a check for 600,000? And they're going to cash it and bring back to them. That's not going to happen. This is not the days when we don't have common sense. Don't listen to patches. We got common sense. It's just not common among certain people. But we have common sense. You understand? So I am saying to the Prime Minister, those people, those names that are saying they did not know, they should be charged for not knowing. If you're working in a bank, you must have enough sense to know the rules. And if you did not follow the rules, you know, as an electrician, you know, I know if I hold a hot wire and hold on a wall, I'm going to be shocked, you know. And if I stand in water and touch wire, I ain't going to do it. Because it's against the process. I know what will affect me when I'm doing my work. So you're going to tell me as a banker, you do not know that you're not supposed to go and work in a scheme with nobody, have them write checks in your name, the bank's money, the people's money, go to another bank, cash it and come back and you all split it up. Welcome.
$700,000.
$700,000.
Then, as he goes, that check is cashed. No question is asked of him.
Well, who was the bank manager in those days? I would like to know. I remember there was some big dispute following the elections. There was some pastor guy that was on the board that refused to resign his position so that the government can put their people in. All of these people, if there was a part of the action, you know, they must be charged, you know. Whether you're police, pastor, or priest, they need to be charged. They got to talk the things them. As a matter of fact, strap them into a chair. Put the politics on them. strap them in. Let them talk the truth.
Where you get all this money from? How come this check is written in your name? No bank ever writes a check in an employee's name or any other name and say go and collect cash for the bank. That is a way to embezzle money. It's a way to embezzle money. And so they went, and he said he get this money in large envelopes. He brings back the raw cash back to the bank, and that he never had any knowledge of the amount or use of the cash after that point.
Dr. Honorable Prime Minister Terrance, I don't believe that individual. And if that individual is telling the truth, ask the AG to find something on the books to charge that individual for stupidity. And that person should not be working at the bank because they don't have enough common sense to work at a bank. So again, I am appealing to you, sir, to step it up. We need answers.
Totaling $20 million in raw cash siphoned from the account of the development bank that is in National Bank. An employee collecting sometimes $500,000. And once he delivers that cash, he knows nothing else about that cash. Ike, the fact that you have to write a check to collect cash to the amount of $20 million, that alone is enough to be considered corrupt practice and embezzlement of funds. Let me go on. The cash would be brought back to the bank every week by the person. And that person, 3 employees will meet in the boardroom to count and package the cash in bundles to be distributed. Can you imagine that? Raw cash coming from National Bank to Development Bank. An employee carry a check, brings back hundreds of thousands of dollars over time, equaling over $20 million. That money is now had by a number of persons who go to a boardroom, and that money is divided. Okay, anybody can see that this type of practice is embezzlement of funds. Where is the $20 million? Where is the money? Nobody knows where the money is. And so, Ike, I wanted to put out. I have some other information to put out.
Yeah, well, Honorable Prime Minister, we appreciate the information and we want you to continue coming to us. But I want you to take it to the next level. Somebody should be charged. You don't have to charge all of them one time, you know. And you have to give them all the charges one time. I was trained by the NYPD and we was told, you don't have to lay all the charges at one time, you know. One charge is enough. You let the prosecutor deal with the rest after. Just drop one charge on them. Just one charge you have to drop on them. The rest will come later. Quiet them up. Let me continue with these receipts. This other one is furtherance discussion on the peace program. As we continue.
This one is connected directly to the peace program. You had what you call a management review board of the peace program. Mr. Lenworth Harris received from that, this has nothing to do with his salary, EC $147,000 from the management review board of this program. Initial engagement team, he received an additional $38,000 to a total of EC $185,000. Right here, we have the record to a one Mr. Lenworth Harris you might know who that is, EK. But this is what the report is saying. So that $185,000 had nothing at all to do with the increased salary to $30,000 per month. This is egregious. This has broken all the rules. And so when you hear people coming on radio about good accounting practice, what type of accounting would you call that? Trying to fix numbers and hide numbers, but they cannot hide from a forensic accounting firm. You can't hide from them as much as you may try. They would find the money, $20-something million, checks written in the name of an employee who went to National Bank, to a specific person. Checks of up to $650,000, $500,000, given in raw cash to be brought back to the development bank, and in the boardroom, it is split up as spoils of a robbery almost. It gives almost the aura of that. And then when you look on the ALP board, when you think people who are making $30,000 a month contributed $185,000. And this is just the scratch of the surface. This, of course, what we can place in Parliament at this time with good legal advice would be laid. EK, there are people's name in this, there are all sorts of things in this. Because what I have gleaned is that persons put persons in compromising positions, and those people at times did not know that they were part of a grand scheme. Some people, they will have to determine a grand scheme to siphon the money from the development bank's account at National Bank so that the money can end up in holes that sometimes they don't even know. EK. So EK, there's much more information, but because I am advised of what I may be able to say now, I will say. But I brought the issue of the $20 million from the report so that this nonsense about the former Prime Minister rubbishes the claim of $20 million. I really believe he thought that I did not have this because I spoke about it and never presented the official report, nor the official name of the firm, nor the details of when it was done. But it is time that people get to know some of what happened. If he speaks again, he's asking for the information, he'll get it. Because he knows what took place. That is the only thing I can say. He was the minister responsible. The forensic audit has revealed that at least $20-something million missing. Because remember, it said checks were written in other people's names. But today, I focus mainly on the 20+ million to this one employee who would go and collect large sums of cash to be taken back to development bank, and that money was split up in the boardroom like thieves who just counting what they have stolen.
So, my good people, you heard Prime Minister just speak about some missing funds from the development bank and how it was siphoned from the accounts of the development bank that is being held at National Bank. I know some people would want to focus on one individual, one party. I want us to remember something. It was a tri-party coalition, which is, based on what I'm hearing, a criminal machinery. Because the former Prime Minister, I got my receipts here. So if they want to take me up at the memorial, I'll have my clips to take there. The former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, recently during the campaign, he said they ain't a small thief, all of them are big thief. And he said when they get to jail, nobody should sorry for them. He also made statements, from what I understand, that none of them could hold a candle to him. because he asked for a pair of shoes and a watch. That's small. A pair of shoes and a watch is small compared to the 20 million plus. My good people, I got some information last week. And if I wrong, let them people in Nevis prove me wrong, you know. But according to the information that I read, that is supposedly in the records at the NIA under the previous premier, God bless his soul, that hospital wing, when it started at 6 million, you know. That was the estimated cost for that hospital wing, you know. Under the now current premier, the estimated cost went up to 19 million. 19 million, project start in 2019 for 24 months. Completion should have been 2019. 2017, 24 months, 2019. Don't forget last year during the campaign, in the heat of the campaign in November, December, somewhere around there, when they end the campaign trail on Nevis, fooling people, paint up the outside of the place, giving the impression that the hospital is ready to open by the end of the year. I got clips with that too, you know. It's only because we break the news. And I want to big up my boy this evening. They are a good supporting staff. I want to big up Carlisle Powell, the man Kelvin Daly, and Brother Tulu. Because we're not drop short on information, they find some for me. I appreciate those guys and tell me and what they're doing on Nevis, but the Nevis people need to do more. I appreciate those guys on Target. But Hensley Daniel, and I talk about your kick and stop shoes and your dressing, but don't let that stop you from bringing the facts to the people. So, the 19 million that they're supposed to spend on that hospital in their Nevis. Turn around, I understand earlier this year, they approved another 12 million. So from 6 to 19, another 12. And I'm telling you, from my experience in the construction business, that hospital will not complete in the form that it should. And whatever wall they knock out inside there, whatever they plan to patch up, they're not helping themselves, they're not helping the country, they're just wasting taxpayers' money. And I'm asking you in the vision petitions, please, talk to the premier. Tell him stop breaking down the wall. Then. Please stop breaking down the wall. You're trying away hard-earned money, taxpayers' money. Money might have came from Social Security to help with that hospital wing. Because I understand money came from the federal government. And if money came from the federal government, the premier have to be accountable to the federal government. Have to. It's not a choice. The federal government is accountable to the people. I am putting this directly to Dr. Joe straight from DJ MARRYSHAW to Dr. Joe. If you don't investigate what's going on at the hospital wing and Nevis and what the federal funds have done, it's going to come back to haunt you. Come election day campaign in the next couple of years, you know. What's going on at the prison project? The people need to know. What's going on at that hospital wing and Nevis? The people need to know. The geothermal, the people need to know. Vance Emery Airport, the people need to know, Mr. Prime Minister. If you don't come to the people now and do the right thing, it's going to affect your come election campaign. And DJ MARRYSHAW can't help but to be honest and true to the people. I'm not coming here to spin and twist nothing. I am presenting it as it is. Independence celebration is over. We had a good time over the weekend. People had fun. Last night, drinks and food galore at Government House. I understand everyone that pays social gonna get $1,000. That pass now. Back to the business of the people. And the business of the people is to hold the government foot to the fire. Every last one of those ministers of government in their position, their feet must be held to the fire. And I am laser focused across the Narrows, right there in Charlestown at the Alexandria Hospital. And I am coming back to visit. DJ MARRYSHAW is coming back to visit. Because what I saw, I was amazed. I couldn't believe what I'm seeing from my eyes. And to see that people are nervous because this gentleman who is taking my picture to do what? Man, you should be happy to come and have a conversation with me. Let's talk the things then. What is the problem? All of us are accountable and responsible. It's our money. I might not pay as much taxes as some of you, rich men, but I pay my part. I have contributed. Some of them want to take credit for everything. But I don't do things for credit. I do what I think is right. So when I went down to the mission with a few people and do what we had to do there, it was to save the country. Some of them said destroying the country. I become enemy of the state. I lost friends in the process. But those friends that I lost, I am of the view, as the saying goes, there was never friends. Because if the things I'm talking about is the wrong that these ministers of government is doing to the country, and their surrogates who's supposed to be my friend, gonna get upset with me because I'm talking the things. Whereby Astro is love every time. Me not fall out with you. You can fall out with me. But baby Brantley must be accounted. Premier Brantley must give his account in full to the people of Nevis, to the people of St. Kitts Nevis. I will not sit idle by and settle for less. We need answers. We need full accountability. And don't come back to another press conference and talk about you're waiting a quantity survey and you're waiting on information. Because I am in the Federation right now. I'll be here for a bit. And I will be coming to those press conferences. We need straight answers, Premier Brantley. We don't want to hear no more, we're waiting on this and we're waiting on. No. Your minister, your junior health minister, she have shown me her hand. Whether it was by her doing or your instructions, she have showed me her hand. So when you all don't have no respect for the citizens of this country, and when you all don't have respect for the taxpayers' money, then why should I respect you all? This ain't about no hate. Some might say I'm harassing you. Some might say I'm cussing. I'm neither harassing or cussing. I am asking the question that need to be asked. The people on the ground, they're asking questions. And I'm going to jump around a bit, you know, because I gave a Calypsonian a ride to Bass State this morning. And last week also, I had a conversation on this program and the week before about what's going on with the Carnival Committee. And I'm coming straight at you again, you know, Brother Clement Monaco Garo. You and Brother Abanati and Shannon. No hate for you guys, only love. But what you guys are doing to the art form, what you all are doing to the Calypsonian, you are killing the culture. If it's true, you all need to reopen the registration and allow people to sing. I am told that the registration process was open in August for Calypsonians and was closed by the end of August. And Calypsonians who wants to sing, they cannot sing because registration is closed. This is bullshit. Straight up bullshit. We are in September. Carnival is in December. If a Calypsonian think they could do a song a week before semifinals to get elimination, to get into the process, that's just their right. There's a lot of things happening on a daily basis. There might be a Calypsonian out there that wasn't thinking about participating, but some juicy information came and they decided, boy, I'm going to write a song and come sing. What's wrong to extend the registration for the Calypsonian until closer to the season? What is the rush to close off registration by the end of August? You are killing the culture. You are killing the art form. And DJ MARRYSHAW not cuss. DJ MARRYSHAW coming to you all in peace. I am coming to you all in peace. We consider and we open the registration process. There's people who want to sing, and I hear some of them lyrics, I like them. They're punching. They're dealing with the issues. So that is my message to you, Brother Monarch, Brother Abanati, Sister Shannon Harley. When you all go to your meetings, we consider this. Open it, let the people sing. You know, let the people sing. I have an issue with that. And, you know, as we continue, I'm going back across to Nevis. You all know that my love for Nevis is a special love I got for Nevis. A special love I have for Nevis and the division. Then I want to love me, that's okay. But I just love Nevis. I love the warmth when I'm over there. When I go by Sister Moffett treat me like a king. When I go by Omen, they treat me like a king. Jasmine, they treat me like Cargo, treat me like a king. My sister there, thanks for driving me around last week and take me to get my sea grapes. You know, those sea grapes, they're just too small. St. Kitts had more fatty sea grapes. So I have to go back over there and check and see if there's bigger sea grapes. But I enjoy what I got. And you know, I found out last night that I had picked some sea grapes for Tulu and Carlisle and Kelvin and Cabo. And you know, it's only when I got to St. Kitts when I started eating my grapes, I never give it to them. So I got to apologize to them for not getting their sea grapes to them. But you all on Nevis, walk on the road, pick up some sea grapes. And as a matter of fact, you know, I come in by Cabo tomorrow. I come in to visit Cabo tomorrow. So I hope Cabo organize some what do you call it, sarsaparilla and stuff there. I am paying a visit to Cabo tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring a guest, Cabo. I wouldn't announce the guest tonight because if I announce the guest, it might cause some problem over there. But I'm bringing somebody with me. We're going to make history and Nevis tomorrow. My guest and I going to make history and Nevis. What a collaboration. What a collaboration when we get to Cabo. So, my good people of Nevis, I'm going to drop a couple of clips here because I want to go down memory lane because people seem to forget what happened. You know? People seem to have some memory lapse when it comes to Baby Brantley. Then I understand when this man was telling people, stay out of Nevis business. St. Kitts people must stay out of Nevis business. But he looked like the man moved to St. Kitts now. He's into everything. He's a shadow prime minister. Any place you see Dr. Joe, just look around, you're gonna know. Baby Brantley is someplace close by. Wherever the prime minister moves, he's right there someplace. Just look around. When the cloud make up rainfall in St. Paul's, you look up on the mountain there, once you see cloud, take up your clothes off the line. Rain coming. That's Baby Brantley. So stand by.
Hi, Mr. Premier.
Good morning.
Just some brief questions. Could you give us an update on the Alexandra Hospital expansion? I see it's looking extremely nice on the outside. I can't say I know what's going on the inside. Also, if you could, was the NIA able to pay the salary increase to workers that it had committed to, which would have been for January? I think that would have been 5%. And I think that might be it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hewlett, I think you are so famous now you didn't say your name. So let me say this is Ms. Lakeisha Hewlett. And Ms. Hewlett, thank you for your questions. In relation to the hospital, you're right. On the outside, it looks absolutely phenomenal because we have decided that what we will do is to improve the aesthetics on the outside because all the work now to be done is to be done on the inside. So we have put in virtually all of the windows now have been fitted. The doors, I think, are going to be fitted as well, the exterior doors. The advice we got from the contractors that they wanted to close up the building meaning to put in windows and doors, because a lot of the interior is going to be sheetrock or drywall, and they're saying they don't want it open to the elements. So you're right, the outside looks beautiful. In fact, the outside looks like it's a finished product, but the work now is the inside work that is going to be done. We have had thus far one meeting with the new Minister of Health, the Honorable General Nisbet, and the team, and the contractors were there explaining what needs to be done. Part of it is the budgetary process. Of course, we haven't yet had the new budget, but I can assure the public that we will be allocating a significant sum to do the balance of work that needs to be done. Now, why is that important? That's important because a lot of what the hospital now needs are things that have a certain lag time in terms of ordering. So, for example, elevators. We have to order elevators for the hospital. Those are going to take maybe 6 months before they can come. So we have to order them now and pay for them now so that we can get them within 4 to 6 months. That is the kind of lead time that we have on some of these items. And of course, these won't be the ordinary elevators. These are the elevators for hospitals, which will take the gurney and the people on it, etc. So we are building out the infrastructure. I have said to them ambitiously that I would like it to be delivered this year. Contractors don't feel that is going to be entirely possible, but the idea is really that we're going to work on it and to provide regular updates. Again, this. In terms of the hospital project, I had hoped today that I would have had an update, but I do not. And the reason I do not is because we are still waiting on some quantity surveys that are to be done. We had hired and paid for those to be done by a professional on St. Kitts. Suffice it to say that that professional has taken the money but not delivered. And so we have been forced midstream to change course. I'm told now that we have outsourced that activity to an entity in the US, and I hope that I should be able to come back to you in short order with an update on that. And if not myself, then the Minister of Health should be able to come with an update. If that update comes prior to my next press conference, we will share that update.
Mark ain't no good, Mark ain't no good. And you know, every year, the more money given to Mark, the more in the red they gone. He's a bad manager, a failed manager, and that is why he hasn't been able to show the people of Nevis what he has done with the money.
A number of things that.
Yes, I. Before Tim say, Baby Brantley is a failed manager. He do not know how to spend. He do not know how to plan. He always, in Tim's face, want more. He always want more. You never have enough. No matter what you give him, you don't have enough. He want more. So, the people of Nevis, you all know all of this, you know. So how are you, ladies, man? What kind of man you all let back in the thing there? What kind of man is that? Yeah. What kind of man you all let back in the place? I do not know. But let me remind you all what he said to the people of Nevis, right? I must say the people of St. Kitts. Let's deal with the issues. This was in the election period of 2022. This is what he told the people of St. Kitts.
I hear the NRP is seeking assistance in all kinds of places. I am to say to my brothers and sisters on St. Kitts, and if you all have money to waste, then give it to NRP. But if I were you, I would stay out of the politics of Nevis because you don't understand it. You don't understand it. And so that is my advice to you, because when the time comes, and it will come, I will lead a team and we will deal with the issues that confront us. And for anybody who is seeking to give succor, assistance to the opposition in Nevis, they will have to deal with us as well. And I'm saying it plainly because I saw it go. I saw it go. Nobody think that things done in the dark are not known to the light, because some of you talking in the dark and you don't know who you're talking to. Sometimes when the call comes, I don't want to talk to you on the phone. Meet me and we get the information. So, let us understand what is happening here and let us ready ourselves for the battle ahead, for the hearts and minds of our people, but the battle ahead to serve the people of this beautiful island of Nevis.
So, while Baby Brantley is campaigning and telling the St. Kitts people to stay out of Nevis business, and that's where NRP got cold feet, you know. I believe that's where NRP got cold feet and did not go outright and say they're supporting A or B, which I think in my judgment, it was wrong. But the way I look at life, if that is what your policies are, that is your policies. Like I said to people all the time, you have a right to do whatever you want, just as I have a right. So NRP had a right to do what they had to do. Well, Baby Brantley had a right to fool the people, if you could fool them. Because you fooled me once, you get away. You fooled me twice, I am an ass. You fooled me 3 times, I am a jackass. So it's up to the people of Nevis. Premier Brantley has done damage to basically every politician in the Federation. In my view, Vance Amory got a dose, Douglas got a dose, Timothy got a dose, and I would hope that Prime Minister Joe and his team is paying attention. Because the next clip I'm going to play, this was from nomination evening, 2022. Nomination evening. The same Mark Brantley that tells St. Kitts people stay out of Nevis politics. Find his way down to vouchers and Green Tree Pastor supporting their partner, the People's Action Movement, PAM, in their manifesto launch. This is my receipts, This is not hearsay. Listen to Premier Brantley for yourself.
The only sheriff in town, leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, and Premier of Nevis. Make some noise for the Honorable Mark Anthony Rahab Brantley.
Members and friends of the People's Action Movement, good night. I bring you greetings from Nevis and from the Concerned Citizens Movement. People's Action Movement, Concerned Citizens Movement, one movement moving people forward.
I'm moving over with me, family. With me, family.
I had to be here tonight because, of course, we're here to launch our joint manifesto. And I apologize at the outset for the absence of my colleagues. But so willful is this man called Timothy Harris, he called the election in the heart of Culturama. And I know if Eric Evelyn was here tonight, Lindsay couldn't behave so up here. Because Eric, I know, would have challenged him in terms of dancing. Poor me not able. So I sat in the back and watched them do their thing. I can't dance, but I know how to talk. And so I'm here on the microphone this evening to say that this document that will be launched this evening, this manifesto provides a blueprint for the future of St. Christopher and Nevis. And I can think of no better team than the People's Action Movement and the Concerned Citizens Movement together. One movement. Characteristic that we need in any coalition arrangement, in any partnership, in any marriage, in any relationship is trust. And that is why I feel comfortable being here in the great constituency of number 4 this evening, because I am confident that I can trust Sean Richards. I am confident that I can trust the People's Action Movement, because they have a track record of performance in this country which is unprecedented. And that is why I am here, and that is why I've come. So not because you don't see the big blue machine with me. I want you to understand that all of them in Nevis enjoying Culturama. And I'm sure that you would have been in Nevis too, were it not for the matter at hand, which is an election on August 5th. And I have said that August 5th is Freedom Day in our country. And when August 5th comes, I want the people here in St. Kitts, the supporters of the People's Action Movement, to make sure you go out early and you get the job done. We're hearing all manner of things. We're hearing about planes coming in filled with people from far off places. I am saying, stay focused. Don't get confused. Don't allow the noise to distract you. Go in there, go out early, take your family, take your friends, take your neighbor, and make the X for the People's Action Movement in St. Kitts. Because at the end of the day, it's not the hype, you know, it's the votes. Somebody say that Timo used to say he have the O. And I say you could keep the O because Pam and CCM have the seats. Damn strong. Yeah, damn strong. Seats that you need to form government. This morning I'm home minding my business. I get some news flash, them say they do a poll. The poll said Pam dead, CCM deader. And when I came here tonight, I said, well, this is how dead in St. Kitts look. This sea of yellow that I see here tonight, me and I'll get frightened. I am saying to you, ignore the noise. They will say almost anything at this point. The People's Action Movement is strong, and the Concerned Citizens Movement is strong. And together, we will form the next government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Sean Richards and the team, I want to commend all who worked so hard to put this document together. I want you all, when you get the opportunity, they said they don't want to destroy the environment, so they'll distribute it electronically. I believe they use a different word. They say digitally. But I tell them I want to feel the paper in my hand, so they gave me a copy. But I want you to read it. I want you to look at the plans and programs covering every facet of our development. And I want you to see the visionary leadership that this team will bring to St. Kitts and Nevis. I want our young people to recognize that we're emphasizing education. We're emphasizing meaningful development. We're saying to the youngsters on the peace program that they and their program will be protected. We're saying to those on the STEP program, the POP program, that all of these are programs that we helped to design and that we brought to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. In fact, the only thing that I can think about that Timothy Harris has come up with on his own is a $2.4 billion jail. And in Nevis, they call that the Harris Family Penitentiary. And I have said that any leader in any country that prioritizes incarceration over education is a failed leader.
They won't build no schools anymore.
That prioritizes incarceration over your health care is a failed leader. And come the 5th of August, I have no doubt on Freedom Day that you will do what is necessary to ensure that we restore decency and good governance to Church Street. You know, as the man who led the foreign ministry of this country for 7 years, the man who ensured that the St. Kitts Nevis passport is the most powerful in our entire region, I feel ashamed of what has been happening in our country. When people are calling me, because yes, they still call me, who do you think they call? Juicy? They call me because they recognize a real foreign minister from a fake foreign minister. So them still call me. And when they call me and I hear some of the concerns that they have, the fact that there was a Commonwealth heads of government meeting in Kigali in Rwanda, and the only country among the Commonwealth of Nations that did not vote for the Secretary General was St. Kitts and Nevis. Them not get the paperwork right. You think that could have happened under a real foreign minister? Can't happen. When I'm getting calls from important countries in our hemisphere that are saying that this administration, or what is left of it, is seeking to secretly start accepting Russians again into our CBI program, when Russia is being condemned for its invasion of Ukraine, I say they're putting our entire program and our entire country at risk. That could not happen under a proper foreign minister. Sean, tell me I must talk about the foreign ministry. Sean, Lindsay get up here boast say he was the best tourism minister. Lindsay, me ain't gonna argue with you. But pound for pound, I was the best foreign minister in this country. You know how I know? You know how I know? Because for 7 years, St. Kitts and Nevis was never involved in any hint, any whiff of scandal. Not once. In fact, the closest that we came was some story about who beg, watch, and show. Yo! You see this watch? I bite. You see my blue shoes? I bite. Me never beg nobody. No watch. Me never beg nobody. No show. I don't beg people them things because my mother tell me, work for what you want. Yo! That's it.
My good people, I know for some of you, it might be painful to listen to Baby Brantley. You're Premier of Nevis. But if you don't listen, you would not hear the arrogance. You would not understand that this Premier, this individual, campaigned against the Labour administration just last year in the 2020 elections. He campaigned as partners with the People's Action Movement, Pam. You all have to understand this. I know some of you new viewers online would not understand it, so I have to play these clips for you all to understand. This individual campaigned as a partner with the People's Action Movement, Pam. He managed to scrape out his seat on Nevis. He survived with whatever antics and tricks. But the same Pam, the same Sean Richards, that he said was his partner, no benefit to sit like a senator, no benefits to become the leader of the opposition. Premier Mark Brantley, tell me where this makes sense. Premier Mark Brantley, who's supposed to be in charge of a shadow cabinet in the federal government, he should be in charge of that shadow cabinet to challenge or to guide the current cabinet. He's now the leader of the opposition in the federal cabinet and the premier of the Nevis administration. It does not mix. It just does not mix. So for you folks online who may be having a problem with hearing his voice. Trust me, I have a problem too, but we have to go through it together. So whoever want to take me under the memorial up there, Ivor Henry, will take care of me. And I just met a partner in Nevis there, Mr. Cozier. I think he's capable of taking care of me over there as well. So we're going to go back to Baby Brantley and his campaign. And don't forget, tomorrow, DJ MARRYSHAW will be at Carbo's. I should arrive Carbo's about 3 p.m. We're going to be there for the evening, hanging out, playing some dominoes, having a chit chat. We're going to have our own style of parliament. As a matter of fact, I am trying to find a gentleman by the name of Patrice Nisbet, a former foreign minister as well, former minister in the federal cabinet for the NRP, the Joseph Parry administration. I want to have a conversation with him. So I am trying to track him down. So I'm going to Nevis tomorrow to track down Brother Patrice Nisbet. Since they're not coming to the mountain, I'm going to the C4 dive. I'm going to find Brother Patrice tomorrow. We could have a drink and have a chat. So I'll be at Carbo's, we'll be up there. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Feel free to swing by Carbo and have a quick drink with us and have a chat.
The closest that we came. And I said, what am I supposed to do? If a man want beg watch and beg shoe, that's his business. But the name of St. Kitts and Nevis was never once in 7 years involved in any shenanigans. Not once. And I believe that that is the mark of a good foreign minister and effective diplomacy. And that is why I don't tell the people in Nevis, I want back my work, and I'm coming back for my work on the 5th of August. Ladies and gentlemen, the Citizenship by Investment Program, that program was the brainchild of the People's Action Movement. Everything that is happening now in our country is about CBI. They tell me the first things that most children in St. Kitts Nevis say now, their first words is not daddy and mommy, it's CBI. Everything is CBI. And CBI was the brainchild of the People's Action Movement, just like Port Zante, just like the Southeast Peninsula, just like government headquarters, just like RLB. Oh my goodness, Pam did everything in this country. You all have a proud legacy, and the Citizenship by Investment Program is one of them. But let me tell you, there are some headwinds, because the European Union has already signaled that they have a problem with these programs. If we are hearing that they want to secretly restart allowing Russians into the program, I am telling you, there will be headwinds ahead. And that is why you need a serious government, because serious times demand serious attention from serious people. And this team on this stage and the two that are missing because they had to be in Nevis tonight, Alexis Jeffers and Eric Evelyn, we are serious people. And we understand what it takes. We have the perfect blend of experience, of youth, and still maturity. As I like to say, we're old enough to know and still young enough to do. And that is why I feel so proud to be here tonight to endorse this document, which means that we have now before us a blueprint for the next 5 years. The hype is good, the music is good, the crowds are good. But at the end of the day, I want you to assure me that on the 5th of August, on that Freedom Day, you will go out and do what you have to do to ensure that we rescue St. Kitts and Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, we promised the marijuana industry in St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't smoke marijuana, but people who smoke it say good. I say, if it's good for you, good for you. But we understand that there's economic value to be had. And my colleagues up here who are in the cabinet will tell you that almost every week I ask for an update what is happening with the marijuana industry for St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, the minute that Timothy gave it to Juicy, I know it wasn't going to go anywhere. Because Juicy is who you give things to when you don't want to progress them. So I was concerned, and that has stayed right there. But Sean Richards has promised me, and I accept that commitment from him, that this has to be at the top of our agenda. We have to create new industries to ensure that we diversify our economy. We create new jobs and new sector, and allow our country to move forward. This morning I wake up, bless my... For meetings and like CCM meetings, you know. CCM meeting, man, to talk for all 2 hours, Pam say 15 minutes, and that's it. And I never ever want to overstay my welcome down here. But I want you to understand that the reason I have made this trip tonight is to fully endorse the contents of this document. And to say to you that we have an excellent relationship. We have been deterred. We have been turned around, but we shall never be denied the St. Kitts and Nevis that we deserve. And that St. Kitts and Nevis is a place where every boy and girl, whether you're from Old Road or you come from Gingerland, every boy and girl can grow up to know that he or she can be whatever he or she wants to be. And every citizen of our country, every single citizen is assured of the full fruits of his or her citizenship. That is why we say fair share. Fair share is not only about Nevis getting what belongs to Nevis. Fair share is also about the people of St. Kitts getting what belongs to you. You know, when Lindsay spoke, he spoke from the heart. Because we sat in a cabinet where we were told this was no longer available. This program was closed. That program was closed. You know what it's like when you're a representative of people and people come to you and they make the case to you and you tell them you can't do anything because a program is closed. And then you look around and people in some constituencies are being added and added and added. Roofing program, all kinds of programs used for one purpose, to undermine the People's Action Movement, to undermine the Concerned Citizens Movement, and to build up. But guess what? All of that comes to an end on August 5th. All of it comes to an end. And listen, I am not asking for much. I just want to be in the parliament for the first sitting. I want to look across and see Timo and start to laugh. Man, God. That is all I want to do. I don't want to never crazy. I'm going to start to laugh. Because imagine you mash up a whole government because you don't want to keep the promise. You mash up a whole government because you don't want to keep your commitments to your colleagues and to the country. Greed, corruption, and we said no more of that. That is why we wrote to the GG. And we said, listen, we are the majority, and in any democracy, you cannot have legitimacy as a prime minister unless you have the support of the majority. You are the majority, we are the majority, and we will ensure that we correct the ship, we right the ship of state on August 5th. That is Freedom Day. That is the day that the Lord hath made, and we will go forth and we will rejoice in it. St. Kitts, I don't tell all of you down here that the voting has started at 1, with all due respect to my friend Shani. The voting started at 9. I am going to bring 9, 10, and 11. So, Pam, what are you going to do? Pam, if I bring 9, and I bring 10, and I bring 11, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in number 1?
number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. Well, let me tell you something. Today, with all the nomination that was going on, I have a little confession to make. I see my friend Sean on a big, big horse. And I say that I too once entered on a horse, but the horse was so big and it was at night. And the fellow who holding the, what you call it, the reins for the horse, the fellow had a little stutter. A fellow from Antigua, he said, boss, a horse not like night, you know. A horse not like light. So the people have turned off the light for me to come in on the horse and then put on the light and see the people. So me say, what the horse can do if he see light? He tell me, the horse might bolt. I said, bolt with who? I jumped on off the horse early. So when I see Sean, I say, Sean, hold on tight. Whatever you do, don't fall off the horse. Yeah. And let me tell you all, you know, Pam people, you're so funny. You put the horse in some yellow clothes. Yeah. I believe it is one of the best nomination days that we have had. Yeah. And members and friends of the People's Action Movement, I am asking you to increase the momentum all the way to August 5th. So that when the Saints go marching in on August 5th, that we are all in that number. Ensure that you make your mark for the People's Action Movement. Ensure that you make your mark for the Concerned Citizens Movement. Together, 2 islands, 1 federation, 1 movement, moving our people forward. That is why we're here. As I leave the stage and as I head back to Nevis, let me ask you, members and friends of the People's Action Movement, those of the Concerned Citizens Movement, let me ask you something. Y'all ready? I can't hear you. Pam, are you ready? Let me hear you make some noise in all road. People's Action Movement, are you ready? Good night and God bless you.
Yes, so that's your current opposition leader in the federal parliament and the Premier of Nevis in the local island administration there in Nevis. Could you all imagine? We look like jackass out there to the world, you know. When we have these kind of politicians doing the nonsense they're doing to the country and get away with it, we look like jackasses to the world out there. When people ask me what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis, you know, I just laugh. Because they said when you laugh, the heart do its thing, eh? And folks, you know, Baby Bantler took me a little bit of overtime. You guys don't have to go and watch my CPL cricket. So I definitely going to have to call it a night. But before I do that, you know, I gotta take some time out and big up some of my online viewers. I didn't have much time earlier to say good night because, you know, like to start on time, get things out of the way. But one of our champions there from the number 2 area there in Bastia, who resides in New York, Sister Celine Tobias, that's one of our champions. She spent over 48 hours on the road fighting to get down here for the elections last year. I know her struggle, so I could call her out. And the people that out there now enjoying the pleasure of the Labour government, you all have to understand, you know, it was a lot of stress, a lot of tears, a lot of pain. Did you MARRYSHAW get enough word, you know? A lot of cussing, you know. They tell me things about me I did not even know. I thought I was looking in the mirror at somebody else when they're talking. But many of them today benefiting from the struggle. Also want to big up Sister Kathleen DeGuire there in the Toronto area. How are you doing? My former Sunday school teacher, lovely lady. Hope all is well with you. Brother Kervin, everything good with you? Want to big up my boy Elvan Ellie, one of my technicians there doing a good job. Keep up the good work, my brother. Alvan Brown, my engineer brother Ike, out of Trinidad and Tobago. Want to big up brother Lord Kent and Sister Debbie. By the way, Lord Kent have a brand new gospel. A brand new gospel. I'll drop that next week. I'm already on overtime tonight, so I'll drop Lord Kent gospel next week. Big tune, big tune. And I also want to send condolences to Kent and his family and the passing, I think, is of his aunt there in the Newtown area. So my praise goes out to them. Brother Deacon Oral Jeffers, how are you doing? Good night. Michelle Libert, good night. Ermin Farrell, good night. How are you doing? Iona Door, Everson Powell, Ingrid Daniel, Olivia David, Sister Beverly MARRYSHAW, how are you doing? Good evening, Sister Idita over there in the UK. Sister Gwyneth MARRYSHAW, how are you doing? My son, dear Jeffroy MorrishaW Jr. over there in the LA area. How are you doing? How is Sister Jazz? Hope all is well. I want to big up my cousin, dear Barbara, over there in the Puerto Rico area, San Juan. Remember, we got viewers from around the world, so I cannot go through all the names. I'm just picking out some names to say good night to. Maurice Saran, Pamela Garvey, my boy Adrian Berry, how are you doing? Good evening. Brother Justin, Sister Justin Hazel, sorry. Hugh Coleman, David Senior, how are you doing? Visha Stapleton, good evening. Jordan Williams, Loretta Clark Queely, Amigo Keynes, hope all is well. Lioness Charles, Centric Daniel, how are you doing? Tamika Bartlett, Romelo Jeffords, Sylvia Ward, Belma Merchant, Caroline Clark over there in the Oklahoma area. How are you doing, Sister Caroline? Brother Dwyer Astafan, Sam Conda, Dr. Martin, the man Larry Vaughan, Big Lice, Douglas Watley, Brother Ira McMahon, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Sister Jean Conda, good evening. Also want to say good night to Sister Jasmine there. Jasmine Morton. Just want to say in remembrance to my brother there, Brother Pam Morton. Normally at this time he would be online telling me Woody's on. Woody's no longer with us, but I know his spirit lives on. Brother Chester Watson, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Gemini Nisbet, Marlene Pemberton, Brother Julian Pemberton, Austin Williams, the man Luther Kelly. Hope all is well. Brother Manners, hope all is well with you. How about Brother Willett, Deacon Oral Jeffers, Saberta Chackenberry, Bertie, Dennis Thomas, Annette Frank, good evening. Hope all is well. Sandra Thompson, Daphne Weeks, how are you doing, Sister Archibald? Everything good with you? Loretta Clark Queely, I'll wait for that letter. I'll give it over to my boy Cozier. All right. Olivia David, Michelle Libert, Colleen Crackep, brother Melvin Herbert, the man Cardell Walters. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you. Darlene Innes, brother Glendale Herbert, Alvin Brown. How Brown you doing? Woodland Hill, Marlin Cross, Chanel Hughes, Gigi Williams Keith. Hope all is well. Lovely Lavi Gums. Good evening. How are you doing, sister? Everything good with you? Carmen Brown. Corbin Wilkin. Chef Jeffers, how are you doing? Hope all is well with you guys. Delicious Nicholas Brown. Larry Lescott. Tanya Farrell. Brother Elvis William, aka the King Freddy, the man Glenn Green. Green Tea. Hope all is well with you. Brother Monarch, Mighty Monarch. The man Ronnie Rascal. How about the man there, Brother Curtis Cook? EK. Chanel Finney. Myers, how are you doing? Also want to big up my boy there, DJ Rabuka. Hope all is well with you. Good evening, Brother Sassia Francis. Happy birthday. I understand you're celebrating birthday today. As soon as I log off here, I'm going to reach out to Sasio. Everything bang on. With my boy there, Shabby. We're going to link and have a drink. You know, once Sassia is in the area, Shabby Dan gonna have everything bang tight. Mellow Fowls. Oh man. Ruby Walters, Shirley Jeffers. These numbers, I cannot get to all of these names tonight, people. I'm sorry. Can't call all these names tonight. Marvin Phillip, Livingston Brown, Sister Moffett Slack, Mikey Slack, Avanel Watson. Good evening. How are you doing? Sister Haley Phillips. What time is it in where you are right now? You're in Scotland. What are you doing online this time of the morning, Haley? Haley Phillips, good night to you and the kids there in Scotland. Hope all is well. Brother Craig Challenger, the man Sugars, good evening. Sister Cicely Brown, Rosita Pontin. Hope all is well with you. We got folks in Scotland. We have folks in Taiwan. Welcome to the vibes. Welcome to the ride. Babes Claxton, the man Miko, the King Miko, brother this and that, Leroy Decent, Thaddeus Deposo. How are you doing? Clayton Davis, Petrina Barrett, how are you doing? Eddie Decent, Tanya Powell, Be Rich, Nigel Brown. I really can't call all these names tonight, folks. I'm really sorry. We're gonna have to just Faith. Bertie, how are you doing? How is the folks there at the Wallet Resort? Hope all is well. I gotta come and check you guys out tomorrow when I'm at Nevis. Roy Burgundy, hope all is well with you. Montclair Tito Sadler, Tisha Stapleton, Pink Diamond, how are you doing, Sister Cheryl? Everything good? Hope all is well. Well, I want to say good night to Sister Ann Farrell Smith, Sister Cora Bennett, Gwyneth MARRYSHAW, my mascot there, Dorothy Allen, my sister in Tortola, Esther Possard Hutchinson, dear Mukesh and the kids, my brother there called Morris and St. Thomas, Sister Valencia Morris, brother Avon Brown, Patsy Brown, Ma and Ralph and the crew, Sister Ethelyn Blyden over there in the Cannoneer in the St. Thomas area. My favorite cousin there in St. Thomas, Natalie Carty, how you doing? How is Caroline and the crew? My cousin there, Jerry in the UK, Sharon, how you doing? Sandra, how about my girl Millie? Yvonne, hope all is well. Sister Charlene, hope all is well with you guys. My boy Theo Clark, hope all is well with you, with Sister Mary Clark and crew, brother Bevis Hutchinson. How about Sister Joel Clark there? Virgie, brother Bevis, Shamrock, hope all is well. Brother Ninky, the man Twinkie, Catherine, Louise, Mull, and the crew. Well, I'm going to have to drop this track. This one is the unofficial anthem of St. Kitts Nevis, is our independence song. I think it's the #1 independence song it should be. I want to big up my cousin there, Gloria Hutchinson at the Smart Fit. Remember, there's a location there on Keon Street, right across from the Walwyn gas station there on 4th Street. And the main location has been relocated to the old Simaco building right next to Skellick and Central Street. Check out Gloria, just tell her DJ MARRYSHAW sent you. Lovely things there. Also remember my uncle there, Joseph Emmanuel at the Garvey's Estate, the Mill House Guest House for your stay, for your entertainment. Check out the Mill House Guest House. Also my boy there over in Frigate Bay, Jamrock Restaurant there. Brother Mike, also Brother Marshall's. Don't forget to check out my boy there, Gijo's in Old Road. They get some good food and drinks, Domino's, they like the man Giza right there at the Bayfront as you enter the ferry terminal. Brother Buddy there in Newton Ground, check out Buddy. Also my boy there, Ras, Backway Bar, where you get your goat water and cook up on Bullfoot on a Saturday morning, or Friday, or Sunday. Nice place to hang out. Also, don't forget to check out the good people there at the Ramada in the Hilding area here in St. Paul's. When you get there, just ask for Miss George. She'll be happy to accommodate you with whatever you guys may need there. Lovely place to stay, lovely food, lovely drinks, good atmosphere. Check out the Ramada there in Hilding. Also, Island Purified Water, my place where they keep me hydrated. I want to check my boy Tango. You need some tires. Check my boy Tango there in College Street, got as well. So let me drop this track here, the unofficial anthem of St. Kitts Nevis. I'll come back next week and follow up, pick up where I leave off. Sorry if I didn't say hi to many of you. There's just too many names to call this evening, and DJ MARRYSHAW have to run. So stand by for the late great King Arrow, Brother Austin Rajam, Laura Williams, Jasmine, right there in the TDC Mall. Check them out for your outfits. But this one is called Arise by the late great King Arrow.
Country dying and never lend a helping hand. Could you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Building a wall so massive or a bridge, don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. disrupting our citizens' peace. All my country in disharmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, sounds of the late great the man King Arrow. Arise, my people. It's your time to rise. I want to big up my boy there, brother Jeff Pemberton. How you doing? Sister Patty Bartlett, how you doing? Sister JD Keynes, the man who ran as. Hope all is well. Sister Naomi Ward, how you doing? Here's the Claxton. My boy Eustace Hendrickson, how you doing over there? Are you on the Mitcham? Hope all is well. You know, every good thing have to come to an end. I apologize for the early shutting down, but I have to go and catch up on my cricket. I want to big up my boy there, brother Ivor Henry. Hope all is well with you. Everson Harris there in the Toronto area. Hope all is well. Brother Thaddeus, have a good night rest, my brother. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow afternoon I'll be there at Carbo's along with a special guest. Check us out around 3 p.m. We're going to hang at Carbo, have a few drinks, have something to eat, and talk the things, you know? And if it's nice, we're going to get it even back and a nicer track. Sister Angela Weeks, how are you doing? How is Patsy Weeks doing? Hope all is well with you guys. Next week, same place, same time. As a matter of fact, I think next week there's no CPL, so you all might get a little extra time. So, as a matter of fact, let me check my phone to be exact to make sure CPL is finished next week. So I think CPL is Sunday. So next Wednesday, the 27th, we go live at 6 instead of 5 p.m. So I'll be on at 6 next week. 6 to 8, Ivor, no overtime, 6 to 8 next week, all right? Until such time, take care. One love, God blessings on everyone.